is that going to my cloud or your cloud?
It'll go to the cloud of our account.
Okay. Okay, great. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
All righty. Close this so I can see who's waiting. Patty, sit tight. I'm inviting more people into the room.
Hey, Shaw. I'm good. How are you? I know I'm actually on vacation, but for you, I'll take a call because I know you don't because I know you don't bother me for anything stupid. For the wrong people, it would be no.
All right. Well, it is a pleasure to see all of your wonderful faces, and some faces I can't see, but I know you're there. I am Chandria Brownlow. I'm a television talk show host based in Chicago, and I'll give it another minute before I go ahead and start my presentation today. But I do want to thank you all for joining. More people are coming. Got a message from Mark Sneed, said thanks so much for hosting. Chi represent. Yes, Chi-Town is in the house, so thank you. Thank you, thank you. Get everybody. You all are in here today and I love it. Okay, I think I got everybody. Now I'll add them as they come. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's try this again from the top. All right, everybody. Again, I am Chandria Brownlow, TV talk show host based here in Chicago, Illinois. If there's snow outside of your window, I stand in solidarity with you. Stay warm. My heart goes out to anybody that's in from Texas, or you have family in Texas. Heart goes out to all of you. But we're going to dive on into today's presentation. All right, I am still adding. I'm still adding. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about the secret sauce to creating authentic content. Again, I'm Chandria Brownlow, and I am pleased to be your speaker at today's Creative Con conference. I want to personally thank Tamika Newhouse and her entire team for the amazing opportunity to present today. I will be speaking on the subject, the secret sauce to creating authentic digital content. But before I get started, I'll tell you a little bit more about me. As I said, I'm based in Chicago, born, raised, and educated. I attended Columbia College, Chicago. I got my Bachelor of Arts degree in TV production, I concentrated on production and directing, loved every class, everything about my college experience. I learned all facets of studio and film production. I covered all the responsibilities there was to cover. I wore all the hats while in school. I got to learn about being a writer, how to produce, how to direct, how to run camera, how to edit, floor director, and so much more. It's a very, very amazing experience. I completed internship at both WCIU and ABC news stations here in Chicago. Then after graduation is when I dived feet first into independent producing and creating entertainment-based content. Present day, I'm a talk show host. My show is called The Chandria Show, and I independently produce it. I distribute it on local television in 105 US cities, all by myself. I also stream the audio of the show on a number of podcast platforms. That's Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, iTunes. It's a lot of podcast platforms out here, and I love it. So just a few months ago, I launched a media production company called Chandria Brownlow Media. And just last week, I released my first short film. It's a love story called Dare to Love, which leads me to our topic today, the secret sauce to creating authentic digital content. I am all about creating digital content. I wear the content creator hat well, and I assume that you all are in this room today because you enjoy creating digital content as much as I do, or you aspire to create digital content. So let's get started. What is digital content exactly? I mean, this list is broad. I mean, it could be software, it could be digital photos, it could be images, it could be digital video or video games. I mean, the list for what digital content is broad. It could be digital audio like MP3s, electronic documents, a PDF, or webinars, electronic books. So I'm curious to know what do you create? What do you enjoy creating? You know, maybe you enjoy creating podcasts, or you aspire to start an interview style talk show like mine. Maybe you've written some short films that you'd like to bring to life. Maybe you've written a book. Maybe you want to create webinars so that you can educate people or teach virtual classes. Whatever you want to do that is in the digital space, you want to create authentic digital content. And by authentic, I mean that it remains true to you, because it's so easy to look and scroll through and you see so many people creating in their own way. And it's so easy to latch on to what seems to be working. And so for me, I always want to create content that works for me, content that I'm passionate about, content that's like authentic to my core, content that's authentic to my values, content that's authentic to what I want the world to know about me, and not what I think is working or what seems to be working or what is the next craze that I feel like I want to gravitate to. No, I'm aligned with authentic content that's authentic to me personally. So when I talk about drawing inspiration to create, I would be curious to know what draws your inspiration to create. Are you inspired or are you influenced to create? And so that's why I came up with a couple of tips to create authentic digital media content. The first thing I'll say is create content that you are passionate about. What are you passionate about? These are things I wrote down when I was deciding to create my digital platforms. What do I care about? What do I dream about? You know, who do I connect to? What content do I want to create that aligns to what I love? Backstory, I love love, like sick love. My parents were married for 49 years. I just lost my dad last year. They would have celebrated 50 years of marriage this year. So I grew up in love. I love movies. I love romantic comedy. I love reality dating shows. I love all the Black Lifetime Christmas movies. I love all the different like little matchmaking shows. I just love it all. And so I wrote a film about what I love, which is love. So on my talk show, I talk about what I love and relationships. So when we create, we have to honor what we're passionate about. Next, I'll say is creating content that is effective. You know, what will people take away from your content? You know, what will they learn about you? What will they be inspired to do? What will they see and what will they talk about? You know, will they buy something from you? Will they be inspired? Will they be able to apply a skill set? The material you create should be effective. Another story. When I started my talk show years ago, I had just come from a long stint of red carpet hosting, right? You know, tell me about your movie, tell me about your new single, but I was seeking change. So when I started my talk show, I wanted to create segments that left people not only entertained, but also inspired and empowered. I started talking about health and wellness, relationship, lifestyle topics, you know, how to be fabulously fit for summer. I talked about how to eat right for your blood type. Somebody's joining. I talked about how to eat right for your blood type, you know, how to get over a breakup quickly, you know, how to overcome adversity. Every episode on my talk show, every segment on my talk show, I wanted my audience to effectively be learning something or to be inspired or to be educated. So I made sure that my content was effective in the way that I wanted it to be. I also ask that you create content that is realistic. Start where you are today. You know, let's say you want to write a film, but you don't have a budget. We've all been there. You know, the project I just completed, I started writing in 2019 and I didn't really have a budget. And I was so overwhelmed with like, how am I going to get this project done? I created this film and now I'm at the crossroads because I can't get it done in the way I wanted to get it done. So let's say you do that. Say you wrote this film and you don't have the equipment, or you don't even have the first idea about how to get your ideas out of your head to your script. Creating content that's authentic to you means you get to be real about what step you're on, and you can plan how to reach that goal. We won't pretend or feel forced to be further along in the process than we are. I did that. I feel like I was having castings for just 2 years ago. I was casting for a film, and I didn't even really understand like how I was going to finish the film, but I was casting, you know, and I had to be real with myself that how am I going to get from point A to Z if I don't have B, you know, through X or Y figured out, which leads me to that. So backstory. I'll always have a story. So when I started my talk show, I was set on putting together this big production, right? I was researching theater spaces so I could have a live audience. And looking back on it, I was like more focused on the audience than the content. So some of the spaces were so expensive. I mean, thousands of dollars to book it for a day. Even the whole production value of bringing in a team to pull it off had me overwhelmed. So I pushed it off thinking I had to wait to achieve this goal of having my big talk show, you know, I wanted to be backstage. I wanted to have an audience. I wanted to have a set decorator, and I wanted all these grandiose things, you know, that were not realistic at the time, you know? And so as I was overwhelmed, I began to be more realistic about where I was. And so my goal was to conduct interviews, right? That's my goal. At the end of the day, no matter how big of a production I wanted to have, my goal was to conduct interviews. So I started the show. I said, you know what? I found a little small casting space that was economically priced. It was just a room with a couch out of white walls, and I booked it for a number of hours. I started booking my guests. I brought in my own set dressings. I went to like local stores or like, you know, Ross's and TJ Maxx, and I got some furnishings. I went on Amazon, got a backdrop stand, and then I built my set from there. And so it doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be that today, you know, work your way to what the big picture goal is. But inevitably I was able to start my show. And so I think it's always, sometimes we aren't clear and our goals aren't clear. So we have to be more realistic. And it's much more easy to think that way. You could think clearly, you could think strategically, but be realistic. The next one I'll say is keep it simple. You know, creating content that is simple, it's not overthought. It doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. But let's say you're creating content for your business, like social media graphics or videos with tips for prospective customers. You might be a hairstylist. You might want to create graphics and hair tips. There's testimonials, there's your favorite products. You know, you don't have to run to every challenge that comes out to be seen. You don't have to run to every challenge that comes out to be seen, because there's a lot of challenges out here, you know, the dance challenges, and it's so much out here that seems to be popular. It seems to be the way to go to get your message across, but that might not be the type of content that you want to create. Story time. So when TikTok exploded during the pandemic, my friends were suggesting that I join to promote my talk show. Like, you should join TikTok. It's the latest craze. It's the biggest thing. Everybody's at home doing TikTok. So I'm like, I'm at home booking interviews, you know? And so, but I signed up, you know, you always have to try. I signed up for TikTok. To this day, I have like 3 TikTok videos on there, and I never went back and created any more because it wasn't for me. You know, I like the way that I created my content. I like doing interview videos, you know, and so I chose to keep it simple, as I have been doing. Don't overthink it. I'm not interested in learning TikTok. I'm not interested in creating content that's on TikTok, you know, and some things work for some people and some things don't work for those people. So if TikTok works for you, that's great. If TikTok doesn't work for you, or vice versa, it could be, you know, maybe you like doing Facebook Live videos versus, you know, recording a video and then having to edit it and put it together and put it out there. You know, maybe it's just easier or much more simple to get the content out live, IG Live, Facebook Live. So keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't stress out about it. You know, don't create that anxiety that will, you know, deter or hinder your creativity. Next point I'll say is create content that makes you feel optimistic. You know, you want to feel good about the content that you create. You know, you want to set goals and dream in bright, beautiful color when it comes to what you create. be optimistic, be positive, that what you create will be amazing and incredible and good and inspiring and empowering, and people will love it and people will like it and people will look at it and people will enjoy it and people will buy it if that's the case. You know, build that confidence up higher and higher, because creating is art. And as an artist, you have to do what you love, because that's the thing that's why we're here anyway, because it's something that you wanted to create. So that thing that motivates you, incites you to create, you know, thrive in that space. You know, what do you have in place to reinforce your dreams and your content? I mean, maybe a vision board, maybe a Pinterest board online, and maybe Post-it notes. It may be scripture from your Bible. It may be a journal. It may be daily reminders. It may be a big poster. It may be inspirational music that you listen to. It may be, you know, something a little harder that gets you pumped and excited. You know, any and all of those things will help you to be optimistic about your content, therefore your brand. Back in 2013, I decided I was going to become a talk show host. Before I ever filmed a talk show interview, I was optimistic about the future, the interviews I would do, the people I would meet, the stories I would tell. I continued to dream about what my show would become and how it would get on television, you know, and that's what I'm most excited about, that I could be optimistic through that. I could be confident through that. And it leads me to where I am today. So I also say create content that is notable or even memorable. You know, how will people remember you based on what you create? You know, will they remember something special about your podcast, your film, or your webinar that you create? You know, will they have a takeaway after watching your interview? Will they feel something? Will they be inspired? Will they want to buy from you? Will they want, what will make your content notable and memorable? As for me, when I started my show, I was eager to create content that moved people, that promoted a better life, a better way of thinking. I did a show once called Changing Your Relationship with Money. And I had a special guest expert talk about how our relationship with money, you know, can create what it creates in us. And so she talked about how that experience with money was for us, was for me. You know, I didn't always have a close relationship with money. We learned about credit. I say all that to say that once that segment aired, I had a young lady message me, say she watched the segment and how much she enjoyed it and how it resonated with her and her experience with money. So that's what I mean when I say creating something that is notable, something that is inspirational, something that is memorable. What will you create? What type of content will you create? What will you create? So does anybody have any questions about creating authentic content today? Anybody want to share what type of content they create?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Do you have like a list or like a checklist that you make sure you hit everything? I know this sounds like silly if you're trying to be authentic and have a checklist, but do you have like a checklist to make sure that you aren't doing any of the things that you said, like getting in your own way or making sure you're keeping it simple?
I don't have a checklist, but I could send you one. If you chat your email address, I'll send you a checklist. Will that help you? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to do that.
Janelle, there's another question in the chat box
Oh,
from
I see.
Pamela Covington.
Thank you, Tamika. Okay. I saw Risa Shane say, yes, I love that. Honor what we are passionate about. Do you create and use an editorial type calendar for generating content? You know what I do? I use a weekly, I schedule everything weekly. Every Sunday night, I sit down and I plan for my week. I plan my content for the week. I plan my task for the week. Like that's my Sunday night ritual. And I literally assign like what day I'm going to do everything, when I'm going to make up my graphics, when I'm going to edit video, when I'm going to rest, because self-care is important too, when I'm going to rest and take it easy, when I want to respond to emails, like everything's assigned. And so treat your content the same way, you know, and whatever way you create.
Thank you.
And then I got Dewan's email address. Dewan, I will send you that. I got my girl Tiff Coleman says, I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
I also have a question.
Sure.
So one of my challenges has been wanting to promote my book and get people excited about I have a book it's nonfiction, but it's short stories of experiences in my life.
Mhm.
But I've been challenged with how to get the excitement and to share some of what I'm talking about without giving the story away. Do you have any advice on how to do that, to kind of tease it?
I would love to see you make graphics with like 1 or 2 line quotations or pieces from the book. I would love to see you go live and do like a weekly reading on your social media, do a weekly reading on the book. We could do a book club. We could do a discussion on the book for people who have read it, get them together, like small things, free things as well, take advantage of social media. But yeah, tease the book. But the idea you want to do is get people talking about it. If you know 5 people who have bought the book and read it, get them. You could do a weekly chat with each person. What did you like about the book? Try to get on people's podcasts, join podcast groups on Facebook and ask if you could come and talk about your book. And so you're building awareness about the book, but 2, you want to tease it because you want them to know a tiny bit about the story, to encourage them to want to read the book or get to know it. But yeah, I think those are some great starter tips. What do you think?
Yes, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
And you can inbox me if you want to talk about it more. I'm on Instagram at Chandria TV. So you want to chop it up.
Will do.
I'll probably have more ideas. Anyone else? No, go on.
There's another question in the chat box, Chandria. It says, do you hire interns or freelancers in helping you to manage your social media accounts?
Do not, but that I need to. I need to, but I take pride in handling everything well. Like I say, I schedule my entire life, the career stuff, the personal stuff, everything is scheduled. So I do a really good job of holding it together. But yeah, if someone's interested in working with your social media, please shoot me an email at cbrownlowmedia.com, and I would love to chat with you about it. I would like the checklist. Got it. How do you market your work? I market my work. Well, the most exciting thing is I've been on YouTube forever. I utilize social media to the max. I've bought ads. I've collaborated on other people's podcasts, other people's shows. I have messaged editors like, hey, can I get a write-up? I wrote a press release. Can I get a write-up? I just recently wrote and produced my first short film. I released it last Saturday. It's called Dare to Love. And so I didn't hire a publicist. Instead, I did my own DIY PR campaign and just started. I sent maybe about 100 emails out. You look hilarious. To podcasters, bloggers, magazine publishers, a lot of people who I found just doing a Google search or in Facebook groups, media groups on Facebook, and just send it out. I mean, there's power in numbers. If you send it to 100, you're bound to get 10 or 20 people that say yes. So I've spent the last couple of weeks on other people's podcasts, talking about my work, talking about my show, talking about, but I would say the best way to get your work out is to collaborate. If you say you have 4,000 people on your friends list, and you're marketing your stuff to those same 4,000 people, there's power in numbers. Collaborate with someone and say, hey, let's get on live today. I talk about your business and you talk about my business. That may be 8,000 people that could be watching, or that may be a new person that signs up for your YouTube channel or your mailing list or buys your product or service. Collaboration will always be the best way to get your work out. Is blogging still valid today? Like, do people do that? I think people still blog, but I think it's the same. I just think the name keeps changing. It was blogging, then it was vlogging, now it's content creation. It's literally all the same thing. Like, it's everything we've always done for the last 10 years. I just feel like it has like a little remix name to it. So yeah, I think people are still blogging with a remix name. Or people they have blogs, they may be like digital magazines now. The top blog site is WordPress. You'd be surprised, thousands of people have created digital magazines, but it's WordPress, which originally was a blog site. So it's the same thing. It's just scrambled up with a new name. what are your recommendations for protecting your work? I protect everything. I trademark everything, or like my scripts, I register with the Copyright Office, copyright.gov. Anything, any original works I've written, I've done with the Library of Congress. It costs like $20 with the Library of Congress. It costs like 55 or 65 bucks. I copyrighted on both platforms just to be, I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know, if somebody tries to take your intellectual property, whether you wrote a book, a webinar, a film, a trademark, a business idea, I just get it out there, you know. So I would definitely recommend anybody register your work. Have you trademarked any of your IP? If so, did you file yourself or use an attorney? I filed myself, like I say, using copyright.gov and using the great part for me is I registered it in my name. So if you're out here pretending to be Chandria Brownlow, we have a problem. But if you have a business that is a fictitious name, then you should be the first in line to register your intellectual property. Even if it's an outline, even if you don't even have it all flushed out ready, even if it's a one-page outline or one-page treatment, I would spend the $20 and register your idea first, even if you haven't even figured it all out yet. Tamika, am I missing anybody? Can I scroll up on this?
Tamika jumped out. It's Laquita.
Oh.
But
Laquita, I'm sorry.
hey. The only question you missed was, do you design your own ads for social media?
I do design my own ads. I will make an ad out of I will make content out of anything. I will make content out of a selfie. I will make content out of a picture of snow. I will make content out of bloopers, or there's always as I said, keep it simple. You can just create content literally out of anything. If I sold products, I would have them on the table. I would have people sending me pictures of them. I would you know, I would just have my stuff out everywhere. So yes, I do design my own content in Photoshop, but I do like platforms like Canva, which is a free site where you can create literally all content, from graphics for Instagram, posters, flyers, short videos. If you look in the Play Store or the like in your app store, look for free apps that let you edit video, that let you, Photoshop even has a free app where you can brighten stuff. I mean, it's there are so many free resources out here. And if there's some specific resource that you're looking for, please message me or email me, Chandria@Brownlow Media, or DM me and I'll tell you if it's something specific for your brand or your business. I'll tell you. I have no problem. For anybody watching, I know my time is up, but if anybody has any questions or concerns, if I can help you in any way to enhance your brand, even just shout you out, have you as a guest on my talk show, please shoot me a message and I would love to talk to all of you. I do thank you so much for your time. I have 3 minutes. What am I rushing for? I do thank you for your time. Social media is Chandria TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. My website is thechandriashow.com. My business page is cbrownlowmedia.com. And check out my new movie, Dare to Love. Any comments? Oh, okay. Trademark, hey Tiff, Darian. I would like your checklist. Oh, I don't want this I gotta save these.
Chandria, when you get a second, drop all your contact info in the chat.
Okay.
So that people can get the email as well as the name of the show, Dare to Love, the website, all the handles, drop them everything so that they can definitely follow you and support.
Got it.
As well as send their questions.
Send your questions. And if you want the checklist, I will send it to you, because I think I'm going to lose this chat because this isn't my, my Zoom. So I'm going to lose these information. Can everybody see it down there? And that's to my movie. I'm so proud of it. Yes, Black Love, Black Love. All right, well, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to me and my presentation. It has been a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to connecting with more of you outside of this Zoom. Everybody have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic weekend, and you all take care and be safe.
Thank you so much, Chandria. Don't forget
My pleasure.
the stop record button.
I will. I'm on it. Stop recording.
We are definitely probably going to